Hello and welcome to my seminar on neuropathy relief. Hi, my name is Dr. Randy Hansbrough. It's a pleasure to have you. I think you're going to learn quite a lot about neuropathy in this webinar. There's a lot to go over. I think you'll find it to be a life-changing experience for you, so bear with me for about 45 minutes approximately. Now you'll notice that at several of the slides on the bottom is a phone number that you can call at any time to set up a consultation directly with me. The consultation is free. My staff will explain other particulars when you call. So get a pen and paper and take notes if you want to, but write down the number for sure if you'd like to schedule a time with me. I help a lot of people with neuropathy. I've done so for over 35 years. And obviously the whole purpose is to help those who suffer with this terrible, painful condition to overcome it, get healthy, get a good life going again, and just feel great. Get fired up about life and continue and to rekindle passions and just really start living your life dream. If it isn't you and it's someone else that you know, a loved one or a friend, with neuropathy, then please share this with them and feel free to give them my number as well. So, you know, I've had a lot of experience and a lot of success with neuropathy, about a 95% success rate, which is very high in any field of medicine. And I feel confident that I can help you as well. So feel free to share this with family and friends. And I do appreciate you helping me help other people. Thanks so much. Well, the whole point of this is to get your nerve function and your health back, to feel great again and get back on purpose to live your life's dreams and do whatever it is you want to do instead of sitting around on the couch all day with your feet and suffering with numbness or pain. Why would you listen to me? Well, I'm in the trenches every day in my office, working with people day in and day out. I love doing this. You might be able to tell from the tone in my voice, I truly do. I teach people all about their health and how they can recover it and put the neuropathy pain behind them. Now, there are a million opinions floating around out there about neuropathy. Most of them have to do with taking drugs, which does not work. So I have developed, with a group of 400 other doctors all over the United States, we as a group have helped develop this unique approach to neuropathy that actually works. And we're going to show you the X, Y, and Z to describe this in this webinar format and reduce or eliminate these long-term costs associated with the suffering, hassles, and poor results. So more on that coming up very shortly here. This is for you if you're in the neuropathy seeking mode of a solution to your condition. If you can't explain it, you don't know why you have it, you feel poorly all the time, you know, you're being medicated for it, but it just isn't working. Why am I different? Well, I've collaborated with the world's best, traveling all over the world, especially the United States, over the last 35 years, helping thousands of people along the way, but learning more and more about what can really help you get out of this deep hole that you're in with neuropathy. I've also helped many medical doctors. I have a lot of medical doctors who are friends of mine. They're very frustrated with the condition themselves. They know that the drugs don't work, and they just throw up their hands and say, well, you're going to have to live with it. And these are the people that I usually help. I get a lot of referrals from medical doctors because they just don't know what to do for the most part. And I guess my message in part is, if you're going to do the same things, which is mainly drugs, you're going to get the same results, which is the definition of insanity, according to Albert Einstein. Let's do something impactful and helpful and actually get real results. So let me ask you this. Because of your neuropathy, do you have poor quality sleep? Not saying you do, but a lot of people do. No energy, aches and pains, red swollen feet, sometimes lesions on your skin or sores on the feet that just won't heal, burning, tingling, numbness. With all of that misery, of course, your sex drive is probably gone and your balance is probably gone as well. And that's usually just the way it goes with neuropathy. Is it dictating your life? Do you sometimes just feel like being left alone? Is the quality and enjoyment of your work suffering? What about your relationships? Your spouse, your marriage, your children, your friends, and hobbies? Have you given those up? Golf, tennis, whatever it may be. It really doesn't have to be like that. So who am I? My name is Dr. Randy Hansbrough. I've been in Stuart, Florida for almost 40 years now practicing. I've been licensed as a doctor of chiropractic medicine, which you probably know is a natural healing field. I am certified as a functional neurologist, recognized by the National Commission for Certifying Agencies. I'm also certified in neuropathy through the American College of Physical Medicine. I helped develop this system, and I've applied these concepts for a long time now. I also authored a book called Heal Without Drugs, which if you're interested in seeing that, you can get it at healwithoutdrugs.com. But that's not why we're here today. We are here to help you with your neuropathy. During this presentation, you're going to learn about how you can stop losing blood vessels and nerves, excuse me, because that's the primary problem with neuropathy, as the nerves shrivel in your feet and elsewhere in the body. That's due to the lack of blood supply. So essentially, blood diminishes to the feet and other areas. Those nerves slowly begin to die, and that's what neuropathy is. We do not want to allow it to continue, because every day that goes by, you run a greater and greater risk of developing gangrene and ultimately potentially needing amputation. This is the most horrible thing I can think of, and I'm sure you feel the same way. So let's do something about it. Turn around the neuropathy condition, improve your energy, get rid of the pain, get rid of the numbness, the tingling, the swelling, sleep better, more peacefully, get back your zest and your libido, and finally find your groove again. Let's do that together. I want you to be able to live your dreams. Wouldn't you? How would you like to have healthy feet, and how would that affect your life? More quality time with your family, improved marriage, better quality time with your kids and grandkids and your friends. If you're working, a better experience at work where you can be more productive, potentially earning more money. Personal time with your hobbies, and a very important part of all of our lives, vacations. And what's the point of a vacation if you can't enjoy it? Agreed? So a little bit about me and my story. I traveled all over the United States and the world, but mostly the US, learning about neuropathy for many years now. And my whole impetus was, I must find the answer. I saw and I tried a lot of things, traveling around and utilizing these methods that failed. But as time went on, we gradually as a group, and I made my contribution as well, found lab tests, nutrients, various combinations, dietary changes, equipment that actually is designed to improve blood supply and save your nerves. And we came up with a really good way to help you. Neuropathy is one of those things that's well known to many, but very little understood. Lots of trial and error has been utilized over the decades to help people with it, most of which was drugs. Very little medication has helped. And it's been very disheartening for me to see all these people suffering with very little to no help, and it has become a sincere passion of mine. It was a humbling experience along the way. You know, other people helped me and guided me, medical doctors, nutritionists, homeopaths, naturopaths, and I ended up with this group with a great system and a solution. And I truly understand, having seen many people suffering with neuropathy, some of whom are friends and parents of friends of mine, and what they go through. It's really quite horrifying. So I'm therefore very excited to share this information with you, because these are tools that you can use right away, as in today. They're groundbreaking. You can't use all of them today, but some of them you can. And it's so much easier when you have a proven roadmap with a high rate of success. And I truly believe this is the missing piece in your pursuit for relief, true relief from neuropathy. Once we get started in this whole process, you're going to see real proof in real time as soon as you begin it. And I think it's important as well that you understand that having neuropathy and suffering with a long, drawn-out process is really not your fault, because no one ever showed you what I'm going to show you today. And it's so simple to implement when you have a system to follow and someone who can guide you. And in the end, it's really not expensive at all, about the price of a daily cup of Starbucks coffee. Can you afford that? If you can afford that, you can afford this. So you can have this solution in your life. And just another reminder, every several slides will be the telephone number you can write down to call us for a free consultation. This system is time-tested and effective. Thousands have followed the method with great results. Once it becomes a part of you, you won't want to go back. And it's pretty much easy as ABC to follow with this unique method, proven over and over again. I call it my neuropathy relief system. Now, this is a disclaimer that I must share with you, because that's what I'm required to do per FDA ruling. And that is, if you are under the care of a medical doctor, then please do not discontinue any medications that you have been given just because you're watching this webinar. Any medication advice is strictly between you and your MD/DO nurse practitioner or whomever prescribed the drug. Therefore, I will not be giving you any prescription drug recommendations. Also, the FDA has not evaluated the content of this presentation, and it should not be therefore considered as direct medical advice. The information contained is for information purposes only, and is intended to increase your awareness of options you have available to improve your neuropathy condition, which I believe I can help you do. Well, you've been mismanaged, in my opinion, up to this point. You and I both know it, or you would not be on this webinar today. And essentially, whoever's been giving you the advice doesn't really have a clue as to what it is and how to make profound improvements in the condition. So your condition, therefore, will get worse over time unless you do something about it, and the sooner, the better. So how does it feel, wasting time and money year after year, spinning your wheels, not getting to enjoy your life and your loved ones, spending hard-earned money on things that just don't work? Have you had enough of it? Tired of all the medications? Weary of the downward spiral? Are you ready for a life-changing experience? I believe I can provide that for you through the neuropathy relief system. So I've got good news for you. Your neuropathy condition is not going away on its own or with medication. Over time, it'll get much worse without the attention, but the good news is you'll learn here how you can change the health of your feet immensely. So let me ask you, how would a good night's rest feel every night? How would natural, boundless energy feel? Would it make you feel great? What about having a healthy libido? What would that mean to you and your partner? If your feet weren't numb and painful, How would that look and feel? And what if you could walk and stand without pain? Wouldn't that be great? How would all these things affect your life? Ask yourself that. So my promise to you, I'm going to teach you more here than you've ever heard before, I'm sure of it. People who have neuropathy, they don't know this. That would be you or whomever you're watching this webinar for. And then finally starting to get your health under control. How great is that? And at the end, I'm going to have something fantastic for you that can change your life. You will be rewarded. But before we get to that, my goal for you is to feel great again. This changes everything if you actually follow through on it. It's valuable and it's easy to use information. There are little known but powerful steps that you can take, which can make a big difference to getting a handle on your condition. In our time together today, you're going to learn what it's going to take to get neuropathy under control, why what you've been doing will never work, how your neuropathy condition happened in the first place, and when you can expect to finally see some results. So your journey, I want to take you through from feeling terrible to feeling great again, from feeling worn out but ready now to rock and roll, so to speak, from slow-minded to quick thinking, from chubby and to leaner and light-footed, sitting in your chair, getting out of your chair to being active again. So can I get your agreement that we're going to go through this process, this presentation together right now? I truly believe it's going to be worth your time. The 5 keys to feeling great again with respect to neuropathy, even if you've been told that it's permanent, take your medicine and you still feel lousy, will be answered with these 5 keys through the neuropathy relief system. It is a foundation for feeling great, where you can experience more energy, save money on long-term drug costs, lose weight without a struggle, and have your feet feel better, improve your quality of life, heal your body and your feet for the long term. Now, what you've been told, keep taking your medicine. There's nothing we can do about it. You'll have to live with it. It's probably going to get worse. And the one thing we hear the most, the next step is a walker, wheelchair, or amputation. This is not true. It does not have to be that way, but I know what you're feeling now is simply you just don't feel well at all. And on top of that, the burning, the numbness, and the pain in your feet, it's just unnecessarily and no longer acceptable. Well, blind faith or reality check, what would you prefer? The myth is that your MD will figure it out which medication will finally bring you relief. But the real truth of the matter is medications have never cured anything, especially neuropathy. They basically mask symptoms while allowing more damage to continue to occur over time, and sometimes over only a short period of time. So the old way of doing things, moving symptoms around, is basically what we call the disease treatment model, which never finds the underlying root causes, allowing for the condition to worsen over time. And the end result is more medications or surgery. And unfortunately, when it comes to neuropathy, it's usually amputation surgery, which we want to avoid at all costs, obviously. Now, symptom manipulation with drugs will lead to all kinds of unpleasant side effects. We're going to talk about those in a minute, but these are the most common drugs prescribed. Statins for cholesterol, painkillers for pain, antacids for acid reflux, laxatives for constipation, loperamide for diarrhea, cortisone creams for skin inflammation, beta blockers for blood pressure issues, and immunosuppressant drugs for all kinds of inflammatory diseases. I'm sure that you must be by now sick and tired of this. Side effects from these medications. taken straight from drugs.com and these other websites. I'll just give you a couple of examples that relate to neuropathy. Gabapentin with the brand name Neurontin can result in dizziness, drowsiness, fatigue, fever, blurred vision, double vision, edema, and tremors, and more. Zymbalta can result in agitation, ED, nervousness, tension, vomiting, abdominal pain, anorexia, and more. Lyrica can result in abnormal gait, cognitive decline, amnesia, joint pain, confusion, edema, neuropathy. What? The drug that you're trying to get to help you with neuropathy is causing more neuropathy? That makes no sense. And speech disturbance. So you get the idea? You don't need this, do you? I'm sure you don't want it. Now, the statistics on prescription drugs, this might shock you a little bit. We Americans only comprise 5% of the world's population, but we consume 75% of all the drugs made worldwide. And the World Health Organization ranks the United States as 37th on industrialized nations list of health measurements. So that it begs the question, if drugs and pharmaceuticals are so good for us, why aren't we number one? Why are we all the way down at number 37? Well, it's because they don't work. Simple as that. The new way of doing things, which you're going to learn about today, is a way to root out the underlying cause of your neuropathy condition and find out what is underpinning the problem that you have. This neuropathy relief system has key systems that work together in harmony to bring you to the point that you're looking to get. Now, what we're going to be reviewing right here has to do with your biochemistry, evaluating your intestines, evaluating your hormones, evaluating your brain and your nervous system, evaluating equipment and how it can help restore blood flow and repair your nerves. 5 keys that you need to know. What is your ideal nutrition? What is the status of your intestinal health? What is the status of your brain chemistry? What is the status of your hormones? And what can we do to improve blood flow and nerve repair? We're going to go over that. It all starts with your ideal nutrition. From the biochemistry standpoint, your body must be nourished properly in order to heal properly. You didn't know any of this though, or maybe you do, but I'll assume that you don't know enough of it. So therefore it's not your fault, but I will teach you. We're surrounded by advertisements promoting unhealthy foods, foods loaded with glyphosate, which is a weed killer, otherwise known as Roundup, foods that are processed with flavor enhancers and preservatives to give them a long shelf life, low nutrient foods, and over time, these unnatural products you're eating will make you fat, sick, unhealthy, and it can contribute to your neuropathy condition as well. So key one is finding your perfect foods. And what may be right for me may not be right for you due to genetics, your blood type, and your immune system antibodies. So how do we figure that out? Well, we run a blood test. Now, you may need the blood test, you may not need the blood test. We will determine that when we actually meet each other face to face or over the phone or by Zoom, but that's the purpose of that test. With that test, we can identify long-term antibodies, which will tell us which foods are your friends and which foods are your enemies on a scale of 2 to 100. With the higher numbers meaning the worse they are for you, the lower numbers, the more compatible they are for you. And that represents a record of years or decades of your body reacting to these foods. So it's very, very helpful to know which foods are ideal for you and which foods are not. That is the first step in lowering inflammation throughout the body. That enables us to craft your perfect meals. You basically eat what your blood test tells us are compatible foods for you, and you're going to have plenty of options. So don't worry about that. We're not going to take away all your foods, but it helps to lose bloating and lose weight, take weight off your weight-bearing joints, which will give your feet quite a bit of relief. It will also help you with predictable and more comfortable bowel movements, improve gas and acid reflux if that's an issue for you, decrease aches and pains, improve energy, and help improve blood flow, which is what this is all about, or at least a big part of it. Now, you may not necessarily need this test. Maybe you do. Again, we'll find out when we talk. Steps that you can take on your own, though, would be to avoid certain types of foods. And I do this with a lot of my neuropathy patients who need the equipment and not necessarily the lab tests. So again, depends on the individual. But let's say if you did this right now, if you avoided gluten, which contains a protein gliadin, which is linked to many chronic illnesses, including neuropathy and even cancer, and that would be grain products, which we'll go over here in a minute. If you avoided dairy, dairy has been associated with breast and prostate cancer and other types of reactions, and it's mainly because dairy is not a natural food for humans. No matter how we want to justify it, dairy comes from milk, whether it's cow, goat, or sheep, or whatever, and it was meant strictly for the baby of that species, period. We've just developed it into many different food sources that we've gotten into the habit of using. The next is soy. Now, soy is mostly genetically modified, contains a lot of estrogen and that Roundup weed killer, if it's soy from the United States, which virtually all of it is. So avoiding soy would be helpful. Refined sugar is another big one. It does not exist in nature. It causes many system imbalances, leads to diabetes, fuels cancer, and essentially aggravates neuropathy. Foods to avoid more specifically would be cereals, bread, pasta, pizza, crackers, cookies, pie crusts, sauces, soups thickened with flour, cow's milk, butter, cheeses, sour cream, coffee cream, cottage cheese, and whey protein powder. All comes from milk. Soybeans, soy sauce, miso, tofu, edamame, soy milk, and tempeh, for reasons stated in the last slide. And refined sugars, which is a huge inflammatory component, include candies, cookies, cakes, pastries, sodas. Artificial flavors are also chemicals that you want to avoid as well. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of good food to eat. Key 2. I want you to stay calm and follow this proven method, because if you do, it's going to help. Now, your gut and immune system should be your friend, not your enemy, and we're going to see why here shortly. Inflammation essentially begins in the gut. Your intestines make up 80% of your immune system. It is how we eliminate most of our waste. It is how we absorb nutrients into our system to repair cells and grow new cells. It is a barrier between the contents in your gut and your bloodstream. And when your gut is healthy, it is something that contains a large volume of friendly bacteria. So let's do something about this. Don't forget the phone number if you need it. The origin of inflammation, your gut. So if you have a poor quality gut in terms of its health, you're probably going to develop a permeable membrane known as leaky gut. You may also have low enzymes. You might have weak bile from your gallbladder. You might have low pH or an acidic gut. You could have parasites, low beneficial bacteria, the good ones. You could have a high yeast bloom. We don't want that. And maybe processed foods, preservatives, flavors, enhancers, and so on could be contributing in part to the problem. The root cause of inflammation. These are legitimate scientific resources that need to be paid attention to. One of them is called the Molecular Cancer Research Journal. In 2006, they pointed out how inflammation is at the root of nearly all chronic disease. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 2015 stated that inflammation drives a lot of cancers. In 1999, the New England Journal of Medicine stated that inflammation can lead to heart disease. The Mayo Clinic in 2015 said that inflammatory bowel disease and Crohn's is often goes together. IBS. Rheumatoid and arthritis, according to the American College of Rheumatology, is an inflammatory disease as well. The National Academy of Sciences 2014 said skin diseases are often inflammatory, and the British Journal of Nutrition in 2015 stated inflammation is linked to many chronic diseases, including neuropathy, of course. So you get the idea. It is paramount that we get inflammation under control. Liver inflammation. Well, these undigested food particles in your gut, when your gut doesn't work well, basically passes on to your liver. So now you have food that has not been properly digested, trapped in your liver, which makes your liver bloat and congests it. Well, when your liver is congested, it's not able to do its essential functions. Here are several of them. Your liver will not be able to efficiently convert cholesterol into pregnenolone, which means you will now have low hormones. Your liver will not be able to process and recycle red blood cells into bile, and then you're going to have weak bile. Weak bile means you can't break down fat from the foods you eat, and you're more likely to develop a deficiency in vitamin A, D, E, or K because they are fat-soluble vitamins. When your liver is bloated, it has a harder time removing toxins, which means more toxicity in your blood, which means more fat because fat is stored with toxins in the fat. A congested liver will also result in less circulation of the blood flowing through it, which makes the neuropathy even worse because neuropathy is a circulatory disease. Inflammation has now become systemic and it spreads when your liver is bloated and swollen, excuse me, which means usually, not always, but very often on a blood test, the cholesterol will rise, giving you an increased risk for heart disease. Blood sugar can go up, increased risk for diabetes. Thyroxine T4, which will then become low because it's trapped in the liver, increased risk for hypothyroidism. Blood toxicity will rise, increased risk for obesity, and then the lower hormones, because your liver can't help produce them, will potentially result, and often does result, in fatigue, low libido, and poor sleep, among many other things. Inflammation of your immune system. Now we're talking about antibodies trying to fight off those undigested food particles because they're not supposed to be in your blood until they're properly broken down into small particles. And that comprises the beginning of autoimmunity, which to a large degree is part of the neuropathy condition. Now, 90% of all thyroid conditions are also autoimmune. So I have a lot of patients who come in here with neuropathy, but they also have thyroid conditions. Or they used to have a thyroid condition, they still do, and then neuropathy developed later. So that's something we don't want to overlook if it's present. So essentially what's happening here is the immune system is attacking the entire body, including the nerves, and it does so by making these antibodies that explode and release the inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. Well, this process is very hard on the body, breaks down lots of tissue, and accelerates aging in the process. So the solution, or at least one solution, is to help your liver and help your gut by repairing it. So we have various products that we use within the overall system that are designed to do that. And they taste good and they gently cleanse the liver. They're carefully crafted shakes that have all the nutrients designed to achieve that, as well as nutrients that will nourish the blood vessels and nourish the nerves so they can begin to heal. These nutrients result in much better gut and liver performance. They begin to help reduce the inflammation, reduce the toxicity, makes it much easier to take off weight and bloat, lowering cholesterol levels, lowering sugar in the blood, and improving hormones. And it works even better when we run laboratory tests along with it. Key number 3 are your hormones. And these hormones are a powerful factor in how your body is going to work and your overall health. But to get the results we really want, they should be measured and supported naturally so that we can use nutrients once we have the measurements to help the hormones improve. And we do this with a saliva test. So far we've talked about a blood test for the food identification as to what's best for you. The stool test is designed to help us improve your gut function, and the saliva test helping to improve hormone balance. Your key hormones, these are just a few of many that affect your health. Insulin regulates blood sugar. Leptin regulates hunger through the brain. Cortisol is a stress hormone from the adrenals. DHEA converts into male and female hormones. Epinephrine is a stress response hormone, and norepinephrine balances out the stress response. These are just a few examples. There are others as well that you will be in a much better state when these hormones are balanced, including neuropathy. So hormones, they all work together to assist your whole body. If we measure them, we get better results treating you. Your body must be precisely nourished in order to repair itself. The saliva testing gives us that information much better than blood can and guides us with respect to the nutrition required to balance your hormones. Your brain, we all know, is your body's master organ. Excuse me. It controls virtually everything else, including neuropathy. So we want to make sure that your brain has a balanced biochemistry environment in which to function. And we do that with a urine test because we can measure very accurately the neurotransmitters in your urine and get an idea of what your brain needs to be healthy and improve overall function, including your feet. Now, you may have heard that neurotransmitters and hormones are similar. Maybe you haven't, but they are. They function very similarly in the body. So maybe you've heard of serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, and GABA, but there are many other neurotransmitters, and they do many things. When the neurotransmitters are out of balance, your brain and your whole body is out of balance as well, which can wreak havoc. Important fact to know, a healthy intestinal tract makes 80% of all of the brain's neurotransmitters. When we test for neurotransmitters, we want to balance them out because the research has shown that we can get a very accurate reading from your urine and know what's going on in your brain. This enables us to develop precise nutrient support, precise botanical support, resulting in improved neurotransmission in the brain. The point being, nourishing your brain with exact results will give you much better treatment outcomes. Key number 5 is managing your DNA. Now, not everyone needs this particular test. Some do, some don't, but we do this on occasion because genetic mutations are common for thyroid, immune system, gut, heart, kidney, brain, and other essential functions. So if we're having a particularly complicated case, we often will measure the DNA so that we can have the exact mixture and ratios of various nutrients to give you to improve your overall body function. And often a DNA analysis permits us to do that. It improves many things, including inflammation. So you should know, obviously you already know, your DNA is what it is. You're born with it. You can't control it, but we can improve upon your body function through this new science called epigenetics, where we can get you supplements that are matched to your DNA. We do that with a simple cheek swab. The cheek swab is then sent to a genetics lab. The lab will then analyze your DNA, and then they will mix the right vitamins, minerals, amino acids, proteins, and botanicals to match the needs of the weak areas of your DNA, essentially. So wherever your DNA is defective, and none of us have perfect DNA, by the way, the nutrients will help improve the overall function of your physiology through a nutritional approach. And those supplements, if you need them, and as I say, not everyone needs them, they get shipped directly to you. And it can become, if necessary, a part of the neuropathy relief system. So let me ask you something. What's your why? Everyone has a why. Why are we alive? What do we want to do with our lives? How does that impact our families, ourselves? What is your why? Is it to provide for your family so that they, your children, and your grandchildren see a good, healthy example of you? Is that a why? Or is it more that you're an explorer, a traveler, a discoverer, and you just want to fulfill your life with more meaningful activity for a deep sense of purpose and spirituality? Whatever your why is, you're going to be able to achieve it much more effectively when you don't have to worry about neuropathy any longer. So, why did you show up here? You want to feel stronger again, have better balance mechanism so you don't have to fear falling from the neuropathy. You want all the benefits of feeling great again. I'm sure that you do. And have you wondered how this can literally change everything for you and finally get rid of your chronic neuropathy condition? I'm guessing that's why you're here today. Are you worried about your willpower? That's something I hear all the time. Have you tried things before that didn't work? Maybe you're thinking something like, well, I always go back to my old habits, eating things I shouldn't, giving in to my cravings. Something just holds me back and I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's because I don't trust that the process will work because nothing else has worked in the past. When you diet, you end up overeating anyway. Hint, what I will be doing with you will depend upon the outcome of our consultation. It may involve a diet, it may not involve a diet. I just don't know yet. We've got lots of options, but whatever we do, it's going to work well for you, I'm sure. As I said before, we have a 95% success rate. We're very proud of that as a group. But if you give up, how is this going to affect you in 1 or 2 years? What's the message to those around you, especially your children and your grandchildren? And I'm here to tell you, if others did it, and thousands of them have already achieved successful results with their neuropathy conditions, you definitely can as well. So I truly believe your search is over, and I'm going to challenge you to remember the 5 keys. This is important. If you need to write them down, write them down. Ideal foods for you based on a blood test. That can be very helpful if you need it. Detoxifying your liver and repairing your gut. A stool test will tell us very precisely how to do that. Balancing your hormones with a saliva test and precise nutrients. Improving your neurotransmitters with a urine test and precise botanicals. And if you need it, boosting your genes with a DNA test and customized nutrients. All these things can be helpful. But in addition to that, something I haven't gone over yet, but it's a good time to do it, and that is we use specialized equipment in my office, which involves oxygen therapy, laser therapy that has no temperature, no heat to it, but it opens up the arteries to improve blood flow, and hydrotherapy to improve blood flow. I want you to picture being here, breathing oxygen, improving your circulation, and gradually repairing the blood vessels and the nerves in your feet. Picture what that's going to feel like. It's going to be great. But in addition to that, you're going to have equipment that you will use at home. This home equipment also is designed to improve blood flow by improving the opening of arteries in your feet with a specially designed boot that has red lights like lasers that penetrate below the skin about 3 inches and vasodilate. They open up arteries and restore blood flow. You'll also have equipment where you're going to be able to soak your feet in water with a very gentle microcurrent stimulation that causes the nerves to begin to regenerate little fibers and begin to heal. You'll also have some cream to put on your feet that soaks through your feet and also opens up and improves circulation. So believe me when I tell you, when you get treatment with this equipment here in my office, with the oxygen, with the laser on the feet, with the hydrotherapy, and you're also nourishing your body with nutrition, and you're using a red light boot at home and microcurrent stimulation to repair the nerves with cream on your feet, you've got about a 95% chance of success, which I think is great. Very few medical procedures can boast that high of a percentage, by the way. So I want you to imagine yourself with no more wasted time, how your life would look. You're no longer lying on the couch all day or sitting in a chair all day or whatever it is that you've lost in your activity, because now your life is much more full of energy with much better sleep at night, no more aches and pains, a better functioning mind, much closer to a normal weight, comfortable digestion, and your neuropathy condition improved or gone. So really, does that sound good to you? I'm sure it sounds like music to your ears. I want you to listen and read to what some of my patients have to say, like Laura, or Cheryl, or Linda. How about George? These are real people that I've helped, including many hundreds more. How about Kim? Read what she has to say. Or Lori. She did really well. Didn't even have to try to lose weight. Or Linda. Linda was a pretty dramatic case, and I'm so proud of her effort and what she's done. Her husband is very happy with the whole situation as well. These are real people that basically had the problems that you're having right now. So I want you to know that even if you don't do it right and you only get half of the program correctly implemented because maybe you're not consistent enough, but even if that's what happens, you're still going to get good results. And if you can afford a cup of Starbucks coffee per day, you can afford this, believe me. And who can't do that? So here it is right in front of you. I encourage you to give our office a call and schedule a time when you and I can meet face-to-face here in the office, or if you'd rather do a Zoom call or a phone call, or it's too far for you to drive to get here, we can accommodate you one way or the other. We'd love the opportunity to help you. Here are some other examples. Read what Sandra said. Or Marilyn. How about Chris? The key, folks, is listening. I know how to listen. It's part of my training, and I care about people, and I genuinely want to help as many people as I possibly can. So if I do my part and you do yours, we cannot fail. Would you like to enjoy your work more? feel more natural in your relationships, actually want to get back to golfing or tennis or whatever hobby you like, or if it's even just a hike through the woods. Wouldn't you like to basically feel great again? I want to lead you back to that brighter and healthier future. So don't be embarrassed about it. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. You can really have success getting neuropathy under control. You really can. But I have to say, you must be 100% committed to the process. Now, you can fall off the wagon here or there, and I'll help you get back up. But you have to really want to be better. And my patients get great results when they follow the process, with an average weight loss of 30 pounds, improvement in sleep, improvement in energy, decreasing pain, sex drive coming back to normal or as much as possible, and pain and numbness in feet and hands getting better, brain becoming clearer, brighter, better memory, and a whole lot more. So if I think you're a good fit and you will follow my guidance, then I might invite you into my program. But you have to be committed. You have to be willing to save yourself with my guidance. Because I got to tell you, the future does not look bright for most neuropathy sufferers if they don't do something about it. And the ultimate tragedy is to allow it to devolve into gangrene and potentially amputation. It would be an absolute tragedy. So you should go ahead and schedule a free consultation. I think you can see from what Genevieve had to say that I will listen and we will work together, and I think you'll be very happy. So give us a call and we will take it from there. This will be the last slide. I hope that you've enjoyed this time with me. Spaces are very limited. You can imagine that I get a lot of calls. We get lots of calls, especially because it is a free consultation for 30 minutes and they fill up fast. So if I were you, I would call our office. I look very much forward to meeting you and helping you get over your neuropathy condition just as soon as possible. So call us now. Thank you for joining. I look forward to meeting you soon. Have a great day.